You're sitting across from a car salesperson, and they slide a piece of paper towards you. Your lease payment will be just $389 a month, they say with a smile. You think about the $25,000 it would cost to buy a similar car outright, and $389 per month sounds so much more manageable. You can afford that. It feels smart. It feels like you're making a financially responsible decision. So you sign. Fast forward 3 years, you've paid $14,004 in lease payments, and you own absolutely nothing. Zero equity, zero asset. You hand the keys back and start the whole process over again with another lease. Meanwhile, your coworker bought a used car for $15,000 cash 3 years ago. His car is now worth $11,000, which means he's only down $4,000 in value, while you're down $14,000 with nothing to show for it. And here's the brutal truth. You didn't get tricked by a shady salesperson. You got tricked by your own brain's inability to properly calculate long-term costs. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why renting and leasing feel affordable when they're actually wealth destroyers. And I'll give you the framework to make decisions that actually build value instead of throwing money away. My name is Max, and I want to help you learn how to make your money work more for you in your life. Today, I'm going to expose the psychological and mathematical illusions that make renting and leasing seem cheaper than owning. And I'll show you the real numbers that prove why ownership, despite feeling more expensive, is almost always the path to building wealth. So let's get started, and please make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Here's the thing. Your brain is fundamentally terrible at comparing monthly payments to lump sum costs. And every business that profits from renting and leasing knows this and exploits it ruthlessly. There's a cognitive bias in behavioral economics called payment decoupling. When you break a large cost into smaller periodic payments, your brain perceives it as less expensive, even when the total cost is identical or higher. Researchers at MIT and Carnegie Mellon found that people consistently underestimate the total cost of payment plans by 20 to 40%. They did studies where participants were asked to estimate the total cost of a $1,200 item paid at $100 per month for 12 months. And most people guessed it was around $800 and $900 total. The math is simple, but the brain doesn't do the math. It focuses on the small monthly number. This is exactly why car dealerships, furniture stores, phone companies, and landlords focus on monthly payments. They're not stupid. They've spent millions studying consumer psychology, and they know that $399 per month sounds infinitely more affordable than $14,364 over 3 years. Let me show you how this plays out in real life with actual numbers. Car leasing. Example, you lease a $35,000 car. Your payment is $400 per month for 36 months. Total paid, $14,400. At the end, you own nothing. If you had bought a 3-year-old version of that same car for $20,000 cash, driven it for 3 years, and sold it for $14,000, your net cost would be $6,000. That's $8,400 less than leasing, and that's assuming you paid cash. But your brain doesn't do this calculation. Your brain sees $400 per month and thinks affordable, while it sees $20,000 and thinks impossible. Furniture rental. Example, you rent a living room set for $120 per month because you can't afford to buy furniture right now. After 2 years, you've paid $2,880. You own nothing. You return the furniture. You could have bought similar quality furniture for $1,500 and owned it outright. Even if you financed it interest-free over 12 months at $125 per month, you'd pay $1,500 total and own the furniture. The rental costs you $1,380 more and leaves you with nothing. This is where it gets really interesting. The rental and leasing industries exist specifically because human brains make this mistake consistently. If people could accurately compare costs, these industries would collapse. Okay, let's talk about the big one, renting versus buying a home. This is where the debate gets more nuanced, but the fundamental math still reveals important truths. Here's what most people don't realize. The rent versus buy question isn't primarily about monthly payments. It's about equity, appreciation, and opportunity cost. Let's run the real numbers on a typical scenario. Scenario renting. Monthly rent, $1,800. Annual rent, $21,600. Over 30 years, $648,000 paid in rent. Equity accumulated, $0. Appreciation gained, $0. Scenario, buying. Home price, $350,000. Down payment, 10%, $35,000. Loan amount, $315,000. Monthly payment at 7% interest, $2,095, principal plus interest. Property tax plus insurance, $400 per month. Total monthly, $2,495. Over 30 years. Total paid equals $897,000. Mortgage payments plus $144,000. Tax/insurance equals $1,041,000. And now you're probably thinking, Max, buying costs $1,041,000 versus $648,000 for renting. Renting is cheaper. But here's the part most people miss. At the end of 30 years, the renter has paid $648,000 and owns nothing. The homeowner has paid $1,041,000 but owns a house that, assuming 3% annual appreciation, is now worth approximately $849,000. So the homeowner is net positive $849,000 in assets, while the renter is net zero. The extra $393,000 the homeowner paid, $1,041,000 minus $648,000, turned into $849,000 in home equity. Additionally, there are tax benefits to owning. Mortgage interest is tax deductible for many people, which effectively reduces the cost of ownership by 15 to 25%, depending on your tax bracket. But here's the even bigger factor most people ignore. Rent increases while mortgage payments stay fixed on a fixed-rate mortgage. According to data from Apartment List, average rent in the United States increased by approximately 30% between 2019 and 2024. That's a massive jump in just 5 years. Let's redo our calculation accounting for rent increases. Renting with 3% annual increases, year 1 to 5. Average $1,900 per month equals $114,000. Year 6 to 10. Average $2,200 per month equals $132,000. Year 11 to 15. Average $2,550 per month equals $153,000. Year 16 to 20. Average $2,950 per month equals $177,000. Year 21 to 25. Average $3,420 per month equals $205,200. Year 26 to 30. Average $3,960 per month equals $237,600. Total, $1,018,800 over 30 years, with $0 in equity. Buying with fixed mortgage, same total as before, $1,041,000 over 30 years, with $849,000 in equity. Now the numbers tell a completely different story. The renter pays almost the same total amount, $1,018,800 versus $1,041,000, but ends with nothing, while the homeowner ends with an $849,000 asset. Seriously, when you account for rent increases and home appreciation, buying isn't just better, it's dramatically better. Now, let's address the most common argument for renting and leasing: flexibility. People say, I rent because I value flexibility. I don't want to be tied down to one place. I might move for a job. I don't want the responsibility of maintenance. Look, flexibility is valuable, but let's be honest about what it's costing you. According to research from the Federal Reserve, the median net worth of homeowners is approximately $255,000, while the median net worth of renters is around $6,300. That's a 40 times difference. Part of this is correlation, not causation. People with higher incomes are more likely to buy, but a significant portion is causation. Homeownership forces wealth accumulation. Through enforced savings, your mortgage payment builds equity and appreciation. When you rent, you need extraordinary discipline to take the money you're saving on lower monthly payments and invest it. According to data from Zillow and various financial studies, fewer than 15% of renters consistently invest the difference between rent and what a mortgage would cost. The flexibility argument often becomes an excuse for avoiding the commitment and discipline required to build wealth. You're paying a massive premium, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, for the ability to move easily. Also, here's what people don't consider. You can sell a house. Yes, there are transaction costs, realtor fees, closing costs. But if you need to move, you can sell. You're not truly trapped. And if you've built equity, you walk away with cash. When you rent and need to move, you walk away with nothing. Additionally, the rent/lease model has expanded beyond housing and cars into nearly every aspect of consumer life. And it's destroying wealth at an unprecedented rate. You can now lease furniture, rent-to-own stores, furniture rental services, electronics, smartphones, laptops, TVs, appliances, washers, dryers, refrigerators, tools and equipment, even clothing, subscription rental services. Every single one of these follows the same pattern. Low monthly payments that feel affordable, but result in paying 2 to 5 times the purchase price over time with zero ownership at the end. Let me give you a real example from a major rent-to-own company. Laptop lease to own. Retail price if bought outright, $800. Lease payment, $25 per week. Contract length, 78 weeks. Total paid, $1,950. Extra cost, $1,150, 144% markup. You pay almost 2.5 times the retail price to avoid coming up with $800 up front. And your brain accepts this because $25 per week feels manageable while $800 feels impossible. According to reporting from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, rent-to-own businesses generate $8.5 billion in annual revenue in the U.S. alone, and their customers are overwhelmingly low to moderate income households who can least afford to pay these massive markups. This is the trap. The people who have the least money end up paying the most for everything because they can't access upfront capital, so they're forced into payment plans that destroy their ability to ever build that capital. Here's what most people don't realize. The real cost of renting and leasing isn't just what you pay. It's what you could have built if you'd invested that money instead. Let's look at the car leasing example again, but this time account for opportunity cost. Leasing a new car every 3 years for 30 years. Average lease payment, $450 per month. Total paid over 30 years, $162,000. Value owned at end, $0. Buying used cars with cash and investing the difference. Buy a $12,000 used car every 6 years, 5 cars over 30 years. Total spent on cars, $60,000. Monthly savings versus leasing, $450 per month. If invested at 8% annual return over 30 years, $611,000. Difference isn't $162,000 versus $60,000. The difference is $0 in net worth versus $611,000 in net worth when you account for what the saved money could have grown into. This is the hidden cost of renting and leasing. You're not just paying for the item. You're sacrificing all the compound growth that money could have generated. Okay, now I need to be fair. There are legitimate situations where renting or leasing makes financial sense. Renting makes sense when you're in a temporary situation, relocating for a 1-year job contract, for example. You're in a market where home prices are extremely inflated and likely to correct. You genuinely cannot afford the down payment and would have to take on a risky mortgage, FHA loan with less than 10% down. You're actively building your income and need maximum flexibility for career moves in the short term. Leasing might make sense when you need a specific tool or equipment for a one-time project. You're test driving a lifestyle or location before committing. The item depreciates so rapidly that leasing is actually cheaper than buying. This is rare, but exists in some tech equipment. The key word is temporary. If you're renting or leasing as a temporary bridge to ownership, that's strategic. If you're renting or leasing as a permanent lifestyle because monthly payments feel easier, that's a trap. How to escape the trap? All right, let's get tactical. If you're currently stuck in the rent/lease cycle, here's how to break free. Step 1, calculate your total cost. Take every rent and lease payment you're making, housing, car, furniture, whatever. and multiply it by the contract length. Write down the total you'll pay and what you'll own at the end, usually nothing. Seeing the real number is sobering and motivating. Step 2, build a purchase fund. Open a separate savings account specifically for building capital to buy instead of lease. Even if you start with $50 per month, start building the fund. This is your escape fund. Step 3, replace one lease at a time. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick one thing, maybe it's the furniture rental or the car lease, and make a plan to replace it with ownership within the next 12 to 18 months. Step 4, buy used and reliable. When you do buy, resist the urge to buy new. A 3-year-old car, gently used furniture, refurbished electronics. These give you 80 to 90% of the utility at 50 to 60% of the cost. You're building equity without overpaying for depreciation. Step 5, calculate the investment opportunity. Every time you're tempted to lease something, calculate what investing that monthly payment would generate over 10 to 20 years. Use a compound interest calculator. Let the numbers motivate you to choose differently. For housing specifically, Step 1, calculate how much you need for a down payment in your market. If you want to buy a $300,000 house, you need $30,000 to $60,000 depending on loan type. Step 2, set a timeline. I will have my down payment saved by January 2028. Step 3, divide the target by the number of months and automate that savings amount. Step 4, while saving, research neighborhoods, understand the buying process, and improve your credit score. When you have the down payment, you'll be ready to act. Now, I know you may be frustrated because you're thinking, Max, I can't save $40,000 for a down payment while also paying $1,800 per month in rent. The math doesn't work. I hear you, and you're right, it's hard. But here's the reality. It's hard either way. You either struggle for 3 to 5 years to save a down payment and then build equity for the rest of your life, or you struggle with rent payments forever and build nothing. One struggle has an endpoint and a payoff. The other is perpetual with no reward. Look, here's what I need you to understand. Renting and leasing aren't inherently evil. They serve a purpose for temporary situations and people in transition. But they've been marketed as permanent lifestyle choices because it's profitable for landlords, leasing companies, and rent-to-own businesses. They want you to believe that monthly payments are smart financial management and that ownership is risky, complicated, and old-fashioned. That's a lie designed to keep you paying them forever. The truth is this: ownership builds wealth. Renting and leasing build someone else's wealth. While you stay broke, every month you pay rent, you're buying a house. You're just buying it for your landlord instead of yourself. Every month you make a lease payment, you're buying a car for the leasing company. You can choose differently. You can break the cycle. But it requires facing the uncomfortable truth that low monthly payments aren't the same as affordable. And it requires the discipline to save, buy, and own instead of perpetually renting. If this video showed you the math behind why renting and leasing trap you in poverty, while ownership builds wealth, I want you to take action right now. First, pause this video and calculate the total cost of everything you're currently renting or leasing. Write it down. Let it sink in. Second, share this video with someone you know who's stuck in the lease trap. Maybe they're perpetually leasing cars, renting furniture, or convinced they'll never be able to buy a house. Send them this video. You might change their financial future. Third, commit to one change this month. Pick one thing you're renting or leasing and make a plan to replace it with ownership within the next 12 months. And if you want to completely transform how you think about money and stop falling for the traps that keep most people broke, subscribe to this channel. I'm breaking down the truth about money every single week. The rent and lease trap is optional. Staying in it is a choice. Make a different choice. Thanks for watching. Now go build wealth through ownership.